What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Grave Media. This is Josh here, checking in on you out there in YouTube land. YouTube, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Happy Tuesday night. Tonight, I want to have a conversation with you. Something near and dear to my heart. Something about my good old friend Sasquatch here. Now, I was born to love Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever you want to call it. I was raised around it. My family is from Packwood, Washington, where all you do is pack wood, work at the mill, right? Drag the strip and hunt for Bigfoot. This is a family heirloom. I love Bigfoot more than anything, and tonight I can't wait to talk to you about a film from Eduardo Sánchez, the director, the creator, really, of the Blair Witch Project called Exist. We're talking about the reigning, defending, hide-and-seek champion of the world, Bigfoot, aka Yeti, aka Skunk Ape, aka Abominable Snowman, aka Wendigo, Grassman, and my favorite, the Sasquatch, the lovable ape, the lovable Harry and the Henderson, if you will. One of my favorite all-time monsters, one of my favorite, something that I actually believe in, something that's near and dear to my heart, near and dear to my family. And you should know that I have carried this thing. There's not a lot of things that I inherited from my grandparents. I've got my family coat of arms back there, my Scottish clan, and then also this Sasquatch that was made. And he has been through a lot of different cities. He's moved to a lot of different states. He has followed me. He has been beat up. His name is Jack, and he is just the best. I wanted to put him on camera. His little, thing that kind of holds his arm up is a little bit broke. He needs a little bit of grease, a little screw job, if you will. He kind of needs to be tightened up, but I love this guy so much, and I love this film from 2014 called Exist, and this is from our old pal Eduardo Sánchez, like I said, from the Blair Witch Project, and it's kind of a passion project, really. The first film, if you didn't know, for the Blair Witch, his kind of inspiration was from the 1972 greatest Bigfoot film of all time, The Legend of Boggy Creek, and of course, the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film, which we played there at the beginning, that slow roll. That is the origin. That is gospel for Bigfoot fans out there, right? That thing has been studied, dissected, put under a microscope. Huge believer. We don't have to get into whether or not you do or not. I think it's fun, okay? Wherever you're at, however you found me, hang out with me. Let's take the edge off. Let's talk about Exist. Exist is a love letter, like I said, to Boggy Creek, the source material predating Sanchez's first film, The Blair Witch Project. Exist takes us deep into the heart of Texas, where the dense woods and the isolation brings us right into Bigfoot's stomping grounds, if you will. It's a bad pun. I'm going to be full of them tonight. I love Bigfoot so much, dude. And I love this film. Unlike The Blair Witch, which kind of leans like really heavily into the power of psychological horror, right? And the power of suggestion. Exist to really beat you over the head with it from the very beginning. It is just right up in your fucking face, right at you, son, right up into the camera. Sasquatch has never looked better, and she have never, spoiler, they have never been, they've never been more ferocious than Exist. I mean, this mother effing Sasquatch is so damn determined, though. It is so ferocious from just the get-go. You don't have to deal with a bunch of character development. You don't have to deal with a bunch of, storyboard, and we have to move this film along. It's only 80 minutes. 80 minutes exists, and it just gets right into the action from the very beginning. I mean, there's a basic plot, right? We're going into this cabin. We're going to go on this little vacation, and unfortunately, in the car, they hit a Sasquatch or Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it, and it's a little pissed off about it. Things happen where this thing is very protective, okay? And this Sasquatch gets right up into your fucking wheelhouse. Where Blair Witch, it builds the tension really slowly. You can tell that this film is definitely a love letter. It's definitely, it's true to the source material, where it wanted, Blair Witch, he wanted to make a Bigfoot film. Instead, he chose kind of the witch path, where Exist, it hits the ground running. The pacing, everything about this film is it's just a freaking freight train, man. I love it. It's got some cheap, terrible acting, okay? It's got similar things like Blair Witch, where they're filming themselves, they're out in the woods, right? And there's this horrible kind of like footage going on with the GoPros, right? And it's the classic YouTuber, the classic content creator, and it's horrible, but you don't get very much of it. You get about 15 minutes before this Bigfoot is stalking these folks in a cabin in the daytime, breaks every damn rule along the way. And that's one thing that I think is just underrated in a film like this, is you don't have to like follow these tropes. There is some in found footage, because really Sanchez kind of helped put it back on the map with, you know, the Blair Witch Project. So it's kind of cool to see him actually make a Bigfoot film and also put a score to it, right? Put like real effects, practical effects, a dude in a suit. If this was the Blair Witch Project, you would get the witch the whole time. Daytime, right? At the Rock, right? Heather would be tormented by this motherfucking Sasquatch the entire time, and that's what you get in 2014's Exists, and I think that is one hell of a reason to check this thing out. Some quick little rapid fire. Exist kicks major ass by bringing us more monster, more aggression, more often. Where most horror films tend to rely on shadows, looking at the nightscape, right? Exist breaks the rules. It brings the action right up into the daylight, lets the monster have a real sense of logic, such as realizing shell capacities of certain firearms, right? It's smart. It's seen this thing before, right? It knows how to like randomly get into basements, through windows, caves, and trails. It can run. It is ferocious, dude. Major props to using all the practical effects, using a man in a Bigfoot suit, acting and reacting practically in real time, sets this thing apart, dude. It really does. The look of the monster, the slight use of that score, the tension, the feel throughout. It takes kind of a typical, stale, and kind of mundane found footage film, and it makes this thing absolutely come to life. It is one hell of a great found footage movie, and it really brings Eduardo Sánchez kind of back into the forefront. And this thing's 11 years old now. If you haven't seen it, it's on Prime, it's on Tubi, it's everywhere for free. Plex probably, and I don't even think you really need to sit through commercials. I think on Prime it's free, and there's like a 2-minute ad at the beginning. What the hell are you waiting for? Get out there and watch the best Bigfoot film overall, because it becomes almost like this survival horror film instead of just a found footage film. It gives it a lot more weight, gives it a lot more levity. It makes it feel like it's actually a movie instead of just another one of those kind of hokey Sci-Fi Channel films that I love. Okay, god damn it. It gives it more purpose, it gives it more direction, and it just feels like something that it sticks with you. You can actually kind of rewatch this film because the creature looks so good. There's a man in a suit, and there's real stakes. There's little Bigfoot, there's caves, the thing's throwing rocks, it's grunting, it's making sounds. It feels like you're hunting Bigfoot or Bigfoot's hunting you, and it's one hell of a damn reason to check this thing out. Take care of yourselves. Cheers.